mind a thick beard as long as it's tame. As long as it's well groomed.
Mm-hmm. So you're
There's nothing wrong
saying
with a
you'd be
little.
okay with Santa Claus because his beard is nicely groomed.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of beard tickle.
I think facial hair is hot. I've always liked facial hair in a guy if it's, as you said, coiffed and taken care of. But I've never been into guys who have that just scraggly ZZ Top type of beard like he's talking about. And to me, it's always all I think about is what's caught in there, what's been in there, where's
Right.
it been.
All I'm gonna do is take a hair straightener through it.
Ew, I know it's so gross. It's just and wiry and. Anyway, and they've been eating ass or something. It smells like somebody's ass. Anyway,
oh my god.
Anyway, I'm just saying all these things go through my head when I see a gross beard like that. Anyway, it was just an interesting question I was asking. Beyond that, let's talk quickly about the fact.
You didn't ask me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I did. Go ahead.
No, you didn't ask me. But
What did you say? What's
about
your
a beard.
answer?
I prefer a beard. However, there has to be some maintenance to it. You guys all say, I don't want a ZZ Top beard. I don't.
Yeah.
It has to be trimmed. It has to be. I prefer a shorter, trimmed, neat beard.
Mm-hmm.
I will go a little bit longer, but that's at a on call, at
Right.
call, whatever you want to call type of basis.
Right.
But yeah, for me it's mainly just short, trimmed. Not too much, but just enough.
I always loved clean cut guys the most, and I liked preppy. When I was younger, especially preppy guys and guys who were you maybe an investment banker. You know what I mean? Like that kind of guy. That's the kind of stuff I liked growing up. But as I got older, I liked more the kind of what's the word? Kind of edgier looking guys, generally speaking.
Right.
And it just depends. But I like both. It just depends on the guy. It depends.
Right. Some guys look better with the beard. Like I've seen some guys who have had a beard for years and they try to change it up and then they shave it all off, and I'm like,
You're
no,
like,
you
who are
need to
you?
back because you look weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's me.
Yeah,
My beard is my contour. It's strictly only there to hide the double chin.
Oh well, good. Good going. Good going. Did either of you watch any part of the? Well, first, before we talk about that, the Republican National Convention. I don't know if you saw this article. It happened last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever. The past 4 weeks, whatever it was. Anyway, and the gay escorts in, I think it was Denver, wherever it happened. I can't remember where it happened. Wherever it took place, had quadrupled their business at the time of the Republican National Convention.
Wasn't it in Cleveland?
Wherever it was, yeah. Wherever it was, Ohio, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, and the women escorts, their business was way down. So, and the escort said that there were tons of political people, and some of them brought their wives with them and had sex with them in front of their wives, and others is just the guys. I mean, so on and so forth. So it's interesting to me. Don't you just find this hypocrisy staggering, though? Because they're at one point they're going on stage and they're saying, fuck the gays, basically, or don't fuck the gays. And later on, they're actually going and fucking the gays. So,
well, the Republicans have always been like that.
I know, but doesn't the hypocrisy bother you at all? I know they've
It
always
does,
been like that, but it's so
I-
annoying and disgusting.
I feel like they do it to kind of fit in, though.
Do what to fit in? You think they just say it because
You
that's their
like-
platform?
They just say it just to fit into a party and be like, oh, we're against this and we're against this and against this, and then they go out and sleep with a male escort. That's just like a guy who lived. I forgot where he lived. This happened a few years ago. He was a KKK member, and whoa, a lot of feedback.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. That's a lot of feedback, but okay. So, he was a KKK member, and he was known, quote unquote, to be a KKK member, and he was sleeping with a black guy on the side.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just like, how are you calling yourself to be a KKK member, Klansman, supposedly, and then you going around, you've been fucking, this guy for years.
Right.
So I feel like sometimes they do it just to fit in and feel wanted somewhere.
But
And
why
then
would
outside
you
of that, they're
choose-
doing their own thing.
But why choose a hate group to fit in? Why not choose somebody who is, well, you don't need to choose someone like that to fit in. You can be part of the people. If you're gay, then be gay, for God's sakes. You don't need to actually be part of the fucking Republican Party because your family wants you to be or because you're married. I mean, it's just so stupid. I'm just saying they're fucking cowards, basically. They're cowards.
I don't know.
They're
What's the name of the politician that was arrested years ago in the bathroom?
I don't remember his name. I see
Larry
his face.
something.
Yes. Phelps?
Yeah,
No.
he was Republican, and he talked about how much he was against gay this and gay that, and he was trying to get head in a bathroom somewhere.
Oh, yeah,
Come on
and there was
now.
that pastor, Ted Haggart, same thing with him. He was a huge mega church leader and totally anti-gay, and the whole time he was having an affair with a male escort all these years. I mean, yeah, it's just hypocrisy beyond belief. I can't believe it. Anyway.
So I'm not surprised.
Well, I'm not either, but anyway. Okay, so tonight we're going to let Christian do a little segment called Out of the Closet with Christian. So let's hear what he has to say.
Wow, thank you so much. Wow, thank you. Yes, I have got a story for you guys. So we all know that people love to invest in expensive luxury items, things like handbags, leather shoes, so on and so forth. I think everybody can say that, especially being gay, stylish guys, or having a woman, a mom in your life that you like to splurge on. You definitely go out of your way to spend a little bit of extra money on a nice bag that'll last you, whether it's anything as affordable as Rebecca Minkoff, which is still genuine leather, but all the way up to your Louis, your Gucci, your YSL, Alexander McQueen. Well, speaking of Alexander McQueen, there is a scientist named Tina Yoryonk from Central St. Martin's Art School. Listen to this. She is producing a project complete with patents and describing plans to use DNA extracted from Alexander McQueen's hair.
I read this.
To grow his skin sample in a laboratory using cutting-edge biotechnology. And she wants to create a line of handbags using Alexander McQueen's skin that will be grown in a lab.
It's actually him you'll be carrying, basically.
Yes.
Yes, it's disgusting.
That's
So
creepy to me.
like a cow. Well, if you think about it, leather, cow skin,
That's a cow, not a human
crocodile.
being.
I know, but
It's the difference between eating a hamburger and eating another human being. It's like cannibalism.
I'm not saying I'm gonna carry one.
Just saying.
Isn't that interesting?
I think it's disgusting.
Well, it is gross. But not
it's
only
interesting, but not in a good way for me.
But
at
listen,
least.
isn't it interesting though that we have the technology though to grow somebody's skin just based from a hair sample?
Why don't we actually use that to actually replace people who've been burned or something, their skin, instead of?
Well, you got to talk to Miss Tina about that.
Anyway, whatever. That's interesting.
And we're not
though.
talking about Tina Knowles.
Jason. Oh.
I think that's an interesting thing. No, I think it's interesting. I saw the article and I thought it was very interesting and intriguing, but I just would never want to actually carry someone's actual skin with me wherever I go. I mean, to me, it just sounds beyond nuts. But do you think this is something that's going to become a trend in the
But that's the
fashion
whole
world?
thing. No, obviously not. But this is the whole thing. Alexander McQueen was so known for being avant-garde and out of the box
Right.
and just doing such crazy things.
Right.
So I think for somebody, a scientist that clearly loves fashion, to kind of invent this new textile, it's just cool. It's not something I would carry around, or I'm sure it would be ridiculously expensive if this actually does. Or if they're able to successfully do this. But I think, it's not something that I wouldn't be surprised that Alexander McQueen would think of himself,
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and he was very out there and everything, and that's true. And I actually, you're right. I think that if he were alive and the technology were there, he probably would have done it himself. So I think that's probably true. Yeah. So that's cool. That's interesting, though. So you're not going to buy one for yourself then if it happens.
I probably won't be able to afford one, unfortunately. As much as I love Alexander McQueen, I don't know if I can see myself spending a couple $100,000 to have a piece of him.
Is that how much it costs?
Well, that's what I would assume. I can't imagine it to be $1,200.
Are you fucking kidding me? Why?
Because it's lab grown skin. What do you expect?
Now I will say this.
From one of the most famous people in the world.
Now I will say this for honestly, from a technology and scientific standpoint, it sounds amazing. From a Again, from a technology and scientific standpoint, it's like, oh, like we've come this far to where you can actually do this. But from a personal
A
standpoint, I
moral.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know if I
That's
want.
some American Horror Story Coven shit. Like, you know, Ryan Murphy's pissed he didn't think of that.
Right, right. So I mean, it sounds interesting, but I mean, I couldn't afford it either. But I'm just like, So I mean, what is the where are they in the steps of doing this? And
Well, right now they're growing the skin, and she's working on getting the patents, but she is in production.
what is his family gonna say about that?
They haven't yet come out and said anything, so
That's gonna be.
we'll see.
I'm interested to hear what the family's gonna say. I wonder, will they be okay with it? Are they gonna bitch about it? I mean,
I don't know, but they didn't really have much to say about it. I mean, how did she get a hold of the sample anyway?
right?
I don't know. So that's a good question. It's not here in the article.
Huh. Oh well, interesting.
Hope she didn't go out and dig them up.
That was that was out of the
I'm
closet.
just saying.
That was out of the closet with Kristen Craven. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yay.
Thank you so much.
Yay!
All right, so let's talk about your new favorite show on Netflix, Christian.
Y'all. Okay. So y'all know Netflix has really been stepping the game up the last year or so with their original series. Of course, everyone knows Orange is the New Black splashed onto the scene a couple of years ago, and there's been, some shows here or there. But they have just dropped this new show. They dropped it about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, but it's just like, starting to pick up momentum. It's called Stranger Things. It's on Netflix, obviously. It's Netflix original. I was scrolling through Twitter the other night, and I hadn't really been on for a couple of days because I was, living life. And I was scrolling through Twitter, and I just kept seeing it over and over and over. And then finally somebody said, when Stranger Things is better than the last 2 seasons of American Horror Story, which I didn't really too much care for the last 2 seasons of American Horror Story. So I identified with that tweet. So I said, okay, well, let me see what this is all about. So I jump on over to Miss Netflix, pull it up, and it's essentially the show about four or five kids. It's based in the 80s. It's like Goonies meets E.T. meets Carrie meets Super 8. Have y'all seen that movie, Super 8?
Yes.
So it's based in the 80s. It's about these 5 kids, and one of them goes missing in the middle of the night. Winona Ryder plays his mom. And so it's the story of them trying to find him. What's that?
She probably stole him.
And it's a story about I got the joke, if you were wondering. It's a story about them trying to find the kid, but at the same time, they find this random girl who's has her head shaved off, and she's got this tattoos. She doesn't know her name. She just knows her name is number 11. And so essentially it's up to the audience as the stories kind of cross to decide, is this supernatural? Is it something from another dimension? Is it something that the government is dictating? Is it a monster? It's really interesting. So 5 out of 5 stars. I'm only on episode 5 out of 8, but everybody I've talked to that's finished it is obsessed with it, and it has 5 stars on Netflix. So.
What's it called again?
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. Okay, well I'll check it out tonight. Netflix. I'm trying to think what I watched recently on Netflix that was great, but I don't know. I watched so much. It's really funny. I watched so much Netflix that I don't remember what I watched. It's really weird. Anyway, seriously, I don't remember the last thing I watched. I watched it every night, but I don't remember the last thing I watched. Anyway, Housewives of New Jersey. You said that last week we didn't talk about this. Something about Teresa storming out of an interview or something?
Oh my gosh, yeah. This happened last week, but Teresa was doing an interview with Extra TV, and they had asked her about what were her thoughts on if she was nervous or fearful that Joe would get deported after his 8 years in prison because he's not an American citizen. So she immediately jumps to defense. She says, next question. I'm not answering that question. That's completely inappropriate. That's so rude that you would even ask me that. The interviewer kind of bites back. She says, I'm sorry, but you're on a reality television. This is one of the topics that keeps getting brought up on the show. It's my job to ask the question. Teresa basically throws a fit, says this is so rude, takes off her mic and storms off set. Which You know, to me, it's kind of like a double-edged sword because you're going on a reality show and you are exposing your private life. So for somebody to ask you about that, and with all the years of media training that she has, you know, there is a right way to answer that question without, you know, getting too into the personal business. But at the same time, that is extremely private. That is obviously something that's still in the court system, and any good journalist knows that something that's a legal matter cannot really be discussed. So